Hello and welcome to the big picture. It has been agreed upon by almost everyone that the union budget presented by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley yesterday has a distinct tilt towards agriculture and the farm sector as well as the rural economy. Whether this is a result of the impression or rather criticism against the government in the last several months that it was pro-capitalist, pro-industry and anti-farmer is a matter of conjecture. The fact is that the Finance Minister has listed out a series of measures and policies and programs which is aimed at alleviating the crisis faced by the farmers and the agriculture sector. Will this thrust on agriculture and rural economy be a game changer for the farmers in particular and the agriculture sector in general? We will discuss this today with Nilotpal Basu, Central Committee Member CPIM, GopalKrishna Agrawal, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Prabhakar Kelkar, General Secretary Bharatiya Kisan Sangh, and Himanshu, Associate Professor at the Center for Economic Studies and Planning at the JNU. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Kelkar, you think that this can be a game changer, the kind number of measures which have been, you think it's going to make any major difference to the farmers?
Yes, we always give a slogan, Samradha Gram, Samartha Bharat. So we think for the first time, these allocations are done. And it is just a U-turn. We see always the budgets firstly talk about the industry and so others. This time our Finance Minister give the first preference to the farmers and the villages. He started from farmers. So it shows that they are want to go to the चले गांव की ओर. ये सब साफ दिखता है और उनको लगता है कि यदि ये सारा इसके अंदर ग्रोन अप होगा तो देश की इकोनॉमी अपने आप उठेगी और ये कॉरपोरेट्स ने और इंडस्ट्रीज वालों ने भी आज स्वीकार किया है जगह जगह. आम जनता के हाथ में पैसा होगा, गांव के हाथ में पैसा होगा तो वो अपने आप खर्चा करेंगे तो सारी इंडस्ट्री भी चलेगी, मकान बनेंगे तो सीमेंट भी होगा, यातायात सुधरेगा. ग्रामीण रूरल एरियाज़ के लिए जो 19,000 करोड़ रुपया रखा है, तो जो हमारा फल पैदा करने वाला किसान है, हॉर्टिकल्चर वाला, उसके लिए आज मार्केट नहीं है. मार्केट की व्यवस्था होगी तो वो अच्छे से अच्छा फल बाजार में ला सकेगा. दिस ऑल थिंग्स शोज दैट समृद्ध ग्राम समर्थ भारत इज गोइंग ऑन.
The finance minister is going towards that. Himanshu, how do you react to that?
Well, I think one thing is very clear, that the government has realized that the agricultural sector and the rural sector is in crisis. And whatever you are seeing now is more of a kind of response rather than something which should have been done in a proper strategic way. We are in a situation like this simply because the last 2 years the government has
But this response, you're talking of response. I mean, you're not when you say response, you're not implying that it's a knee-jerk response. It is a response which has been thought out because so much of measures, so many plans and programs have been enlisted.
Exactly. But this response is actually, that is where I am coming to. This response is again a response to the need that is coming out from the rural areas, that the crisis that is so severe in the rural areas, particularly in agriculture, but also in the rural economy, non-agricultural economy has collapsed, wages are not growing. But I think the response is more of a political response rather than actually coming out from the budget. Because if you look at the number and try and disaggregate those numbers, at least the numbers don't show the same kind of commitment which the finance minister made in his budget speech. For example, just take an example of the agriculture budget. He said that it had gone up to 35,000 crore from roughly like 20,000 crore 2 years back. But remember, of the 35,000 crore, 15,000 crore is basically interest subvention. That was not part of agriculture ministry budget. It was basically part of finance ministry budget, and this is not something new that is being done by the government.
So are you saying that 15,000 crores interest subvention is part of the agriculture budget?
Now the government is trying to show it in the agriculture budget of the agriculture department, which ideally should have been in the budget of the finance ministry, because that is a subvention going to the banks. And that has been the tradition for so many years. So in that sense, trying to jack up the numbers and show that they are spending more on agriculture is something which needs to be brought out. And I think it is important to mention here that if you look at the total amount of money that is spent on irrigation, that irrigation amount, which is the crucial amount, because we had back-to-back droughts, that does not show the kind of increase that the finance minister was talking about. So overall, if you try and look at it...
No, one second. What you're saying is, a long-term irrigation fund, a dedicated long-term irrigation fund will be created in NABARD with an initial corpus of 20,000 crores. This was an irrigation fund. And you are saying that this is not enough? What's your...
there are two things that you must keep in mind. One, that this government, after the 14th Finance Commission award came out last year, had a severe cutback in the spending on irrigation. So irrigation spending was brought down to half. The minimum that the government was expected to do was to bring it to the level that it was there in the budget 2014.
No, but that was explained, saying that since the Finance Commission is devolving more to the state governments will be spending that money.
But the data is showing very clearly that the state governments are not spending on those. So central
who
government
is responsible for it? Can you hold the center responsible for it?
The kind of a crisis that we are seeing in the farming sector or in agricultural sector, central government cannot absolve itself from the responsibility of providing relief to the agricultural sector. See, this passing the buck is not helping the farmers. Let's be clear about it. Whether the state or the center, ultimately the fact is that the farmers are committing suicide. There is a severe crisis in the farming sector. And the government was supposed to provide some kind of a relief to the farming community. And this is not just the irrigation spending, investment spending, but also in terms of providing basic minimum support prices. For example, when international prices are collapsing, farmers are committing suicide simply because they are not getting remunerative prices. And the government is basically not doing anything in terms of MSP, not even raising to the level. Forget about procuring it. It's something which is, I don't see whether there is a blueprint for agriculture sector to this government or not.
Production cost plus 50%. That was what was promised.
Forget about those. Forget about production cost plus 50%. We are not even raising it to cover for inflation. The minimum that is required, and particularly at this time of crisis, it is not just to announce MSP, but also go and procure it. That is how the farmer is going to benefit it.
Okay. You will have to respond to all these things. You know? One is the immediate distress which the farmers are facing. How much of the distress will be alleviated by these measures? Because some of these measures are long-term measures.
Now, 2-3 points have been raised. I'll just get to the clarify them. One thing is that initially it is generally a blame game, then it comes as a claim game. Earlier they were blaming, everybody was blaming that we are not doing enough for farmer. Now when we have done so, they are saying it is because we have put pressure. Let it be anything, but there has been lot has been done. If you see the 9-point focus of the finance minister, 5 out of those 9-point focus, those are related to agriculture or rural economy, agriculture and farmers welfare, then rural sector, then education and health, social sector, and then infrastructure. If you combinedly see, there a lot has been done on the agriculture sector or rural economy. The second point was raised was the irrigation. On the irrigation also, many things have been clearly, specifically said that FMS said that we will bring about under Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, 28.5 lakh hectares of land will be brought under irrigation, which is at present only 46.5. There has been a targeted approach on these and allocation even on water conservation also, and this Narega scheme has been put that 5 lakh water recharge bodies will be created. Even Narega will be used into water irrigation or increasing the water level or ground surcharge level of water. So I think these all things have been very clearly mentioned. The infrastructure spending on Gramin Sadak Roja, the basic benefit the farmers will get is from the this Gramin Sadak, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. Actually, they need access to the markets. If the roads are built to the rural areas, ultimately road is a catalyst which increases the rural economy. I think this one single scheme of Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana will be a game changer, where it has been specifically targeted that what we will be done allocation of approximately 27,000 crores from the budget, including the state contribution.
So you think that all these measures will have an immediate impact on the distress faced by the farmers?
With regard to MSP, I just tell you that MSP is not part of the budget. It is decided by a price commission, which is a separate commission which considers what is the input cost, what is the calamity, and how much price that cost and price commission is there, which decide that MSP should not
be addressed in the budget.
And for the distress also, one point is there, crop insurance scheme, which gives the major, which will tackle the distress of the farmers in the rural area. FMS provided 5,500 crores specifically for the premium of crop insurance, other problems, and even the assessment of loss has been made non-subjective, and
Okay.
lot of technology will be used to assess what is the actual loss, where they had to run from pillar to post to assess loss, then get commission.
Okay.
So I think lot has many has been done.
बोलिए.
एमएसपी पूरे देश में समान रूप से खरीदी हो, इसके ऊपर इसमें जोर दिया है। एमएसपी क्या होगी इसमें नहीं है, लेकिन अनेक राज्य जो खरीदी नहीं करते हैं उनको प्रोत्साहित करेंगे, उनको
कैसे करेंगे? What is the
MSP is never a part of the budget.
this method is not in.
No, but you are saying that there are measures to promote this
Agriculture economy.
agriculture economy and purchase by the state governments. Where is that particular measure here in the budget?
No, for that it is not allocation or any other. But they says that we will
Promote.
our stress to the
Okay.
states.
FMS specifically mentioned about MSP. I'll just get back to you, where he has specifically mentioned that more states will be e-procurement and procurement, online procurement.
This
and
Pashudan, Sanjeevani, Nakul Swasthya, Pashudan, Heart. And
yeah,
National
five
Promotion.
announcement of
Yes.
5 schemes has been
Okay.
there with
Okay.
regard to procurement policies only.
Okay. Nilotpal, the question is that how much all these measures will be useful in alleviating the distress?
I think I have new interest in Shakespeare after Sriti Irani. So I will say that this budget is more of sound and fury signifying nothing. Why I said this? Now you heard him from Kisan Sangh. Now he is saying it is there. Mr. Agrawal is saying also it is there. But it is a fact that when the Supreme Court asked the government to file an affidavit that given this agrarian distress, whether your government will go by the BJP's pre-election commitment that cost plus 50%, what did they say? They say, we have no money. Now, because of the criticism, this is a knee-jerk response, and therefore we are saying that we are spending so much. But when you actually unravel, now, what is the single most important issue which is really ravaging the peasantry? That is indebtedness.
Right.
The farmer suicides, forget about our data. Maharashtra government has had commissioned a study, and they say that indebtedness is the single largest factor. Now, all this flurry of, and as Professor correctly pointed out, that it is a sleight of hand. What was under Finance Ministry has now come under Agriculture Ministry. Is there a single word? I asked him.
No, but
he represents farmers organization.
This 15,000 crore interest subvention.
Wow, that is what I'm saying.
It is in Finance Ministry.
That is what I am exactly saying, that this does not cover the main source of distress, that is private lending. And you see, it is a fact that they don't get credits and they are forced to go to money
So that
lender.
has been increased from 8.5 lakh to 9 lakh
Mr.
crores.
Agarwal,
Credit
you tell
line.
me, a simple Punjabi peasant was saying, आप तो उधार देने वाला बात कर रहे हो, जो उधार में फंसा हुआ है उसके लिए क्या है बजट में? I found it disarming.
No, let Mr. Kelkar respond to this.
15,000 crore rupees.
15,000 crore interest subvention के लिए
Yes.
Provision
they
किया
have
है.
made provision.
और क्रेडिट लाइन भी बढ़ाई है.
Credit line बढ़ाया है. Credit line
वही तो point है. That is
Credit
the
line बढ़ाया,
point.
but he's on a different point, Mr. Kelkar.
Unorganized sector.
देखिए, जो 15,000 करोड़ है वास्तव में तो कम है, उसको और अधिक बढ़ाना चाहिए। जब तक किसान कर्ज में फंसा रहेगा, किसान के डिजास्टर को हम रोक नहीं सकेंगे। अब इसके लिए कितने अच्छे से अच्छे कदम उठाए जा सकते हैं, इसके बारे में चिंता
So, Mr. Kelkar, do you agree that the kind of crisis which the farmers are facing today is something what we had seen about 10 years back when loan waiver had to be, the central government had to resort to loan waiver. You think that kind of a situation prevails now?
अभी जो 2 साल से बराबर खेती खराब हो रही है, उसके कारण ज़्यादा किसान फंसा हुआ है। अभी इस बजट के अंदर सूखे से निपटने के लिए सही मायने में कोई दिखाई नहीं देता है, और विशेष करके जिन राज्यों में अभी पीछे सूखा रहा है, उन राज्यों के लिए प्रमोट करने का कोई विशेष प्रोग्राम होता तो ज़्यादा अच्छा हो।
What about MSPs?
The MSP, we always demand that MSP should be announced as a profitable price.
So I will just एक minute अगर इजाजत देते. The point is, you see, two things. You are not talking about subsidy cut, fertilizer, fuel. What will be the impact of that on the cost of production? One.
No, where we are cutting the subsidy?
Oh, in fertilizer.
No, the subsidy cut is not, it is through direct benefit transfer. At present, the system of subsidy is going to industrialists.
You see, I mean, whatever you may say, net. So, in the budget also we have seen that 46,000 crores, which was meant to be earned from corporates and personal income tax, there has been a shortfall. Entire load has been covered by the excise duty increase on oil prices. So, therefore, what I am saying is very clearly that there are so many other issues in budget where there is no direct reflection.
One second.
Girish, one second. Just about this MSP.
We'll come back to MSP. I want Himanshu to respond to that. Himanshu, the issue of subsidies. Is there any cut in subsidies as far as agriculture subsidies are concerned?
See, in terms of fertilizer, the subsidy has been cut by 2,500 crores. That is the number. On food, the subsidy from the budgeted numbers has cut down by 5,000 crores. So on these two, which directly impact the agriculture sector, there has been a cut down in subsidy. That is the number which is there in the budget documents, and that I can vouch for.
How will you respond?
No, I think
how are you going? 7,500 crores straight away. There has been a cut.
Actually, there was a lot of leakages. If you see in the LPG case, the government has been able to save about 30,000 crores from the subsidy. And that has been not only saving, they have allotted those LPG cylinders to women. So I think there is anywhere you discuss that our system of subsidy was not targeted. Many people, even economic survey said that 1 lakh crore is going subsidy.
Okay, I got your point.
So
we want to make it more focused.
I got your point. Let him respond. I want to go to Kelkar.
Let me clarify one. We want it to be more focused and save it from the leakage.
That's right. The point is well taken.
This is blatant falsehood. The surveys have actually shown that the stipulations that you have made to actually access the subsidies is such that those who are needy cannot access. So it has actually depressed the demand.
Aadhaar card. Everything is being Aadhaar card.
Aadhaar card also, that is another dark chapter of our
1 second, Nilotpal.
Playing with the people.
Mr. Kelkar, as far as subsidies are concerned, the present government's direct benefit transfer, is that the solution to the problem?
No, we think that subsidy, जो सब्सिडी दी जाती है वो बराबर खेत और जितना हमारे पास 14 करोड़ किसान है जोत वाले उनके अनुसार होनी चाहिए वो कितना फर्टिलाइजर उपयोग करते हैं, परंतु उसके अंदर जो गैप है, लेकुनाज हैं, उसको कैसे
नहीं ये वो डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर से वो कमियां जो है वो पूरी होगा?
लीकेजेस
रुकेंगे, पूरा तो नहीं हो सकता है
क्योंकि डिप्रेस्ड हो जाएगा.
नहीं, लीकेजेस जो आज है सब्सिडी में, इवन ऑन द लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स आल्सो गवर्नमेंट हैज प्रोवाइडेड 150 करोड़.
Okay.
You have to see the technology driven.
No, we will leave that aside now.
Yeah,
for the moment.
Because our focus is on technology driven and targeted subsidy.
That's right. The finance minister as well, the prime minister yesterday, finance minister also, is talking about doubling the income of the farmers in the next 5 years. How do you think you'll be able to do that?
There are 2-3 aspects on this.
Yes.
One thing is that we will be focusing, as the finance minister and PM has said, reduction in the input cost. Actually, the farmers, their cost has to be reduced either through soil health card, insurance scheme, then other benefit, direct cash transfers, benefit transfers, so that their cost of production is reduced. You see, there is a conflict between CPI and WPI. the farmer is getting very little price, and at which rate CPI is calculated, and wholesale price index is very high. So consumer is getting very high rate. To e-market, e-procurement, all these we are moving ahead in a technological sphere where we need to use technology to plug leakages and bring transparency and improve efficiency.
Himanshu, doubling the income of farmers' income in the next 5 years, is that something? Is that a valid ambition which they have now? 5 years doubling. What does it take to double the income?
I think I'm sure that the finance minister realizes what he has said and how realistic is this kind of an assessment is. See, it will need to be, the farm incomes have to grow at 15% per annum.
Per annum.
Now, 15% per annum, even the economy has not been growing at that level. And you're expecting the farm sector to grow at 15% per annum. I mean, that's something really out of the imagination. But I think let me come back to two issues which have been raised.
On this, I just want to mention very short point.
Yes.
One thing is reduction in, how do we focus to approach, thinking of approaching reduction in input cost. Second is reduce the middleman from e-market and other thing. Third is then this MSP and other things will be there, and give them alternative employment, because many population of our country is dependent only on agriculture. There is underemployment. So Pashu Palan and other schemes, they transfer them from agriculture to other.
Let him respond.
Let me just come to the point that is, I mean, 15% is obviously out of the imagination. Something has to happen drastically too. But I think the two key important points, which is what has been mentioned here. One is this about the DBT. I think in one sense, the government is still not clear as to who is the beneficiary. Will it be given to people who have land records? Will it be, what will happen to the sharecroppers? What will happen? Will you give it by land owning? Do you give it by the cropping, which crop you are growing? Because fertilizer consumption is not like food consumption.
Right.
It varies depending on what kind of soil you have, what kind of irrigation you have, what kind of crop you are growing, and whether you are sharecropper or not. I mean, so in that process, that is still a far-fetched dream, what is being talked about. But this is a dream that is being sold about for, I think, last 5-6 years, that we will have DBT and the subsidy will come down. I think the important point that I want to emphasize here is that this whole thing about input cost, let me give you the numbers, and I think that is where the numbers are important. Last time they tried subsidy, they went into the nutrient-based subsidies regime, the NBS scheme. Fertilizer prices went up for all the complex fertilizers, and this government has yet not taken a call on that. There was a severe crisis as far as urea, because urea prices are still administered, and therefore there were shortages of urea in the market. There were really riots at some places as far as urea availability is concerned. Urea prices are now selling at almost double the price than the administered prices. So all the fertilizer prices have gone up. Your wage cost had gone up to 2000, definitely up to 2014 beginning. Now it has started coming down. Now all the input costs have gone up. But your MSP hasn't gone up, international prices have gone down, and that is what is there. Look at the sugar sector, look at the pulses sector.
Agrawal is talking about bringing the input cost.
Where is I don't see how we are going to bring down the input cost. I mean, even
providing them better irrigation facility, providing them targeted subsidy.
Let me complete.
Removing the middleman. You see the difference between CPI and WPI.
Let me complete. I'm just saying that whatever you are talking about, some of these are your intentions for the long run. But as of now, there is nothing on the ground. And if you ask somebody who is there, and they can confirm what is happening in whether it is pulse farmers, whether it's sugarcane farmers, cotton farmers, you talk to any farmers, the prices have collapsed. And the government, rather than intervening and trying to save the farmers, I mean, is still talking about we will have e-market, we will have this, we will have integrated market, we will have national market. All these are desirable. But what is it that you are doing? What is it that the blueprint you have? What is the vision you have? What are the concrete steps you have? How much money have you put in? If you want to procure by you announcing MSP, then the money should have been reflected in food subsidy. Your food subsidy goes down. Then what is the point of announcing MSP? Are you going to announce MSP in pulses and other crops but still not going to buy it? I think
so MSP is a long-term solution, then you are saying?
I'm not saying. I'm saying MSP is a short-term solution.
Even shorter.
MSP is a short-term solution.
You have to go for a target for a long-term solution.
It is a short-term solution.
But the MSP
we are not saying that MSP will not be taken care of.
MSP cannot be defended. The point he is making is very valid, that if you reduce the food subsidy, the procurement cost and all that, then how can you ensure?
but we are
MSP?
never saying that MSP will not be properly
then
administered.
look at the actual figures of procurement. Procurement is going down because on the
Mr. Basu, we are never debating that MSP we will not
Mr.
take care
Agrawal,
of.
just give me one sentence. I mean, I did not disturb you. That on the distribution side, if you look at it, if you liberalize the fertilizer business, the pesticide business, and the power business, and so on and so forth, and therefore they will continue to grow. Whereas, I mean, the input cost and so far as the price is concerned, government, wherever I tell you, he will confirm me, I am sure, in spite of our political difference, that government is not procuring, state governments. And I mean, you see what is the tragedy of the country, that you are having wastage in the godowns.
So therefore, these
People are things are going.
Mr. Kelkar.
Becoming.
Mr. Kelkar.
Sir, therefore,
One
these
second,
three
one second.
schemes have been
No,
announced.
you have, Mr. Kelkar. The points made by both Himanshu and Nilotpal Basu.
तो सभी राज्यों में बराबरी से खरीदी होनी चाहिए और गोडाउन्स भी उसके लिए पर्याप्त होने चाहिए। इसकी तरफ अभी कोई बहुत ज़्यादा इस बजट के अंदर क्लियरेंस नहीं है, और वो जब तक नहीं होगा, किसान का दाना दाना खरीदने की गारंटी जब तक नहीं कोई भी सरकार देगी या कोई भी सोसाइटी देगी, तब तक किसान का उद्धार नहीं हो सकता है।
100% सहमत आपके साथ।
और इसके लिए मेरा कहना है कि आप भले 5 साल की एक रोड मैप बना करके उसके ऊपर काम करिए।
वो रोड मैप अभी दिख नहीं रहा है,
अभी तो एकदम साफ नहीं है। ये बजट केवल ये दिखा रहा है कि हम गांव की तरफ जा रहे हैं, गांव के लोगों की चिंता कर रहे हैं।
मैं एक फिगर
आपकी एक सदाशयता है।
The FMS
The
said
intentions are good.
97 lakh metric ton of storage capacity was added to the central pool this year. So you have to, if you say that there has lot many road to be covered, we agree. Farmers need more support. More that gap will be there, but we are moving in the right direction
But Mr.
and with focused approach. That's what we are saying.
You have to understand that all the storage capacity cannot be done by your PPP. You see, you have to ensure that the supply chain is equally farmer friendly than of your foreign investors who you think will help you
very quickly.
out of the crisis.
Procurement centers should be in the 10 kilometer areas. जब तक 10 किलोमीटर के एरिया में खरीदी व्यवस्था नहीं होगी, छोटा किसान कभी नहीं ले जा सकता, वो दलाल को ही देगा।
Okay, very quickly, Himanshu, last words. Agrawal says that the intention, the roadmap, they are on the right track. You think they are on the
And
right
still there are gaps that we agree.
See, let me accept it. At
Very
least
quickly.
This government has finally accepted the crisis in the rural areas.
Right.
And at least in terms of political rhetoric or intentions, they are heading towards solving or whatever, at least recognizing it. I will say recognition of it.
Okay.
Second point, in terms of contribution, in terms of amount of money that was needed to take care of the severity of the crisis, I think there the government is falling short of it.
Okay.
And that must be emphasized.
Okay, the intentions are there, but you're saying that, they have not walked the talk yet. We will wait and watch if they will really walk the talk they have some more time. So in any case, the fact that the government has recognized that there is a crisis in the farm sector is a welcome sign. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue in the big picture same time tomorrow.